As part of this Prezi project on former Prime Minister Berlusconi, I'm just going to give a little background information on his life, kind of leading up to his political career and kind of surrounding some of that. Despite what many recent critics would say, he was one of the most successful Italian prime ministers of all time. Of the post-war leaders, he has held the longest tenure. Um, and number one overall is in Italy was Mussolini, but as we all know, it's kind of disqualifies you to be a dictator. So Berlusconi held the longest tenure of any modern or post-war era prime minister, which kind of is a measure of how successful he was as a political piece in Italy. Um, he began his life in Milan. He was born, he was the first of three children. His father was a banker, his mom just was a common housewife. And that's where he began his career as well. He first started by selling vacuum cleaners, it was actually his first job. But shortly after that, his first company that he kind of created was called Edil Nord, and it was a construction company that eventually built him into a big housing developer in the greater Milan area. And so that kind of set him up into the workforce. And about 10 years after that, he set up Telemilano, which was a cable television media outlet that became one of the most successful ones in Italy. Um, and so through that, he he changed the name and it grew into a company called Mediaset, um, which kind of did the same thing. And Mediaset was under Berlusconi's holding company, which was called Fininvest. Um, and so this holding company owns not only this Mediaset cable television company, but also AC Milan, which is Berlusconi is the owner of AC Milan, as well as a publishing house and the newspaper Il Giornale. So before he even entered into his political career, Berlusconi was an incredibly successful businessman. As of right now, he has about $9 billion, which makes him the third richest man in Italy. So with this kind of backdrop of having been a very successful businessman, he then, when he made the jump into politics, um, won in his very first race. He partnered with two other conservative groups. Their names were the National Alliance and the Northern League, and together they won the 1994 election. Now, this kind of partnership really only lasted for about 7 months. He Berlusconi was uh, being investigated for tax fraud, which is one of his. This has happened many times. Has been a common instance in his life. So this, on top of he was having constant feuds with the other two conservative parties that he ran with, and so it kind of created this whole political storm that caused him to lose the next election. Um, that was in 1996, and he lost it to Romano Prodi. So his first stint as the prime minister of Italy was a little short. However, he soon, in 2001, won the seat again, and funny enough, with the same two conservative parties that he ran the first election with. And he held this up until about 2006 when he lost the election again, but only for about 2 years because then he won his third term in 2008. So, despite the whole persona around Berlusconi, he's been said to possibly be involved with prostitutes or call girls. He's been married twice. Apparently, he's cheated on his wife a lot. But aside from all this, he's been incredibly successful at winning elections and gaining the public kind of support. Um, so that kind of sums up a little lead into what Berlusconi was able to do well in power and how he lost that power during the Eurozone crisis, which both Andrew and Stephen will later tell you about.